Audi's TT sports car comes in 3 flavors. We have the base model, the TTS, and now the TT RS. That's the top of the line, fastest model, and we're here looking at the 2012 Audi TT RS. The RS in the name stands for RennSport. Translate that into English, it means racing sport. The RS version of the TT has a few different elements than the standard TT. The TT RS gets a bigger engine, it gets Audi's magnetic ride suspension technology standard, plus we get some different appearance packages. This car has this optional optic package, they call it, gives us these silver mirror covers. You can also get carbon fiber. And back here we have a fixed spoiler. Does away with some of that motorized elements, saves a little weight, which keeps true to this car's sporting theme. Audi has been doing some wonderful things with cabin tech lately, like Google Earth integration and the navigation system. But this car, not so much. This generation is 6 years old for the TT, and the cabin tech is 6 years old as well. Here in the head unit, we have just the stock system, no upgrades, and this is a basic radio. It's got satellite radio, it's got broadcast, it's got a CD player, and according to the literature, somewhere around here there's an auxiliary input, but I can't find it. Now, as it is, we do have a 9-speaker audio system, which isn't too bad, but you really can't hear it very well over the sound of the engine, this really aggressive engine in this car. You can get an upgrade here, though. You can get a navigation system, and that comes in a tech package, a $3,500 tech package that brings in a Bose audio system, so an upgrade over that 9-speaker system, and iPod integration. Now, you can't get iPod integration without the navigation system, and the navigation system is DVD-based. It's 6 years old, which isn't great. Sports car fans are going to love the fact that Audi only offers one transmission with this car. It's a 6-speed manual, so shift your own gears. It's the way it should be, no DSG or dual-clutch manual transmission. But we also have this S button on the console, which controls some of the more high-tech elements of this car. For example, put it in S mode and it makes the acceleration more aggressive. The throttle's a little more sensitive. And it also controls the magnetic suspension that when you put it in S mode, it makes the ride quality stiffer and handles the corners better. Of course, on the flip side, it also makes the ride a little less comfortable. But this S button also controls the sport exhaust. Now that's another option that we have in this car, $1,500 option. That makes the exhaust sound more aggressive. It opens up some baffles and you get this really like roaring sound, which doesn't do much for performance, but it certainly makes you happier. Now with this small cabin, you might assume the TT RS is a 2-seater, but I'm going to prove it's a coupe. So you can see there are back seats here, but I'm going to need a chiropractor after sitting back here and bending my head under this low roof. You wouldn't want to sit back here for at all, really. Anyway, let me get myself out of this place here. As standard in the TT RS, you get these carbon fiber engine covers. Not really important. What's more important is you get an extra cylinder. This is a 2.5-liter 5-cylinder direct injection with turbocharger. That's one more cylinder and 0.5 liters more than the standard TT. That adds up to 360 horsepower and 343 pound-feet of torque. Those are huge numbers for this small car, so it gives it really good acceleration. Now, you'll also notice this engine sits sideways, side saddle. Usually this is a mark of a front-wheel drive car, but the TT RS has quattro all-wheel drive standard, so that doesn't really matter. What's more mediocre about this engine is the mileage. 18 miles per gallon in city, 25 miles per gallon in highway. Not great, pretty average numbers, but that's not really the point of this car. Now, what Audi tried to do with the TT RS's sport mode is make sort of a dual-purpose car. This is something that BMW does really well. You know, in this, leave it off sport mode. In the city, you can drive around, drive to work every day. But it doesn't work so well in this car because the suspension in non-sport mode never really gets comfortable, and the engine always remains a little touchy, a little hard to control in traffic. On the fun curvy roads like I'm on right now, you can really get a sense of how this car is supposed to handle the places it's supposed to be, and this is fun driving it around here. Suspension really just handles these corners nicely, and you get a nice sense of rotation in the turns. But there's a couple things I don't really like about this car as far as the sports car goes. One of that is the fact it's got this electric power steering system that it's not tuned all that great. I don't know, the turn-in isn't very tight. You don't feel a lot of response like you do in the, the best systems that I've tested. This car just remains kind of vague, and it doesn't have the sharp turn-in that I would really want from a good steering system in a sports car. And I think I'd wait till the Audi engineers have a chance to tune that a little bit better. Another thing I'm not crazy about is the gate on this manual transmission. The gate isn't quite as tight as it could be. I really want to be able to feel it smoothly go in each gear, but it's kind of notchy and doesn't really give me a good sense of going into each gear. So ultimately, what I'm feeling in the ride here is this is an okay sports car, but I think there's better options out there. Certainly less expensive ones. The base price of the 2012 Audi TT RS is $56,850. The tech package I talked about, $3,500. I'm not sure I would include that because it's an old system. The sport exhaust, that's fun, $1,500. Might as well throw that on there. But ultimately, I might go for a Porsche Boxster, the car we just reviewed, which just had a model update, or wait for the model update for the TT whenever that's going to come.